Good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of October. I'll be with you in about 5 minutes. Markets open in 8 minutes. So I'll see you in about 8 minutes. There we go. Okay. See you shortly. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Europe. Good afternoon, Asia. I hope that you are well. I hope you are rested and ready to go. This is the FTSE chart we're looking at here. I just realized that I still like to write down the closes. 8,306 and 19,421. So the FTSE closed down 11 points and the DAX closed down 40 points yesterday. And the Dow had an almost flat day, 42.94. And S&P 5851. And the Nasdaq 100 closed at 2383. So now I know what the levels are. So let's look at the weekly chart. Yesterday, the DAX, I don't know if you can see this, but it touched. If I put data on, you'll see that the high of the week past last week was 19,402. That was the high. And yesterday's low was 19,367. I think, don't know if you can see this, but look at the open from previous week. The open is 19,367, and then, so you look there, right? You look at the open price, and then look at yesterday's low, 19,367. So they're identical, so sort of a retest of the open. I'm grateful for a friend of mine, Ian, who pointed that out to me. And we're sat about 50 points above that, which in DAX terms is, well, very little. So we're headed into this open now in about 30 seconds with a sort of an idea of, okay, where are we on the daily chart and where are we on the weekly chart? So what's interesting about the daily chart, and this is interesting for those who have ever studied my material, but this bar here yesterday, and this is important, it closed below the low of the highest bar that we've seen for this move. That's important, and that would suggest that we are headed down to 19,000 or lower. So yeah. So let's go over to our trusted 5-minute chart. And we can do the same here with the FTSE, but the FTSE is a very different pattern than the DAX, also because it's a different index, just trades differently. So here's the daily chart. So we'll go over to the 5-minute chart for that as well. So there you go. So it sort of gives you an idea of what's in store, maybe, for the DAX. So now it's as always, it's a waiting game. There's the gap. Gap fill for the DAX. We can put that in as well if you want. Here for the FTSE. So the first bar in the FTSE, please ignore that I already got a trade on. It's just an experimental setup. That's the first bar positive, and it means that if we come below this low here, it's a sell. Nothing done yet. The reason why I haven't shared this is because it's a trade that a trader setup that I've worked on, but off the open, but it is still sort of in its drawing board, and I'm not ready to share it. Don't feel that I have enough evidence. But I do like when I'm in the testing phase to actually trade it with real money. Nothing done yet on my part. We're coming up to the completion of the aggressive school run bar. FTSE on a 1 minute chart isn't doing anything just yet. FTSE is right now up 8 points on the day from the cash close previous day. The DAX is up 12, 13 points. So it's one of those slow motoring mornings. So this kind of pattern here, which suggests we're going to see 70. Okay, so we're setting up the aggressive school run. So just stand by. Probably find an entry in the DAX shortly. I'm just going to be patient. Alternatively, I can wait for the traditional school run. Stand by for a long position in the DAX. Down here around 36 if we get there. I'm placing an order there. The order's at 36.8. I'm long DAX. Where's my order? There it is. This stop loss can easily be moved up a bit, and I will. Okay. Let me just make it a little bit more transparent. I bought a retest of this area here. And that's what we're seeing here. Hopefully. Well, we're in profit now. So that's something, right? So I'm just going to delete this ASIS line here, and then I'm moving my stop loss up to 8. So the school run will trigger in 5 seconds. 1 second. Just going to input the new stop loss in Telegram. So I'm just going to delete the ASIS, and now I want to flip over to a 15-minute chart, and that will give you a viewpoint of where the orders are coming in. So I suppose it doesn't really make much sense to have a stop loss at 8 if there's a school run short, if you understand what I mean. So I think I'll move the stop loss. Let me just do the offset here. I'll do a 5-point offset and a 5-point offset. So the low is 19,425. That's this low here. And the order will then come in for a short at 1940. No, sorry, 1925 minus the offset 5. So having a stop loss where I have it right now doesn't make any sense. So I will have to move it. So the stop loss is now at 1921. And if the DAX trades up at 54 or thereabouts, I would want to be a buyer. So my entry is 36. Currently it's trading at 46. There's the amount of profits, there's the stake size, and there's the current stop loss. So I'm currently risking 14 points. I'd like to move that up, but I don't think I have enough of a buffer. I guess I could just put the stop loss to break even. But what I would ideally like to see is a move higher, who wouldn't when you're long, to attack these levels up here. As you can see on a 30-minute chart. That's the theory. So now my position is in negative. Just remember my stop loss is at 20. And that's where I have a school run short. So that's not looking so good now. On a 1-minute chart, we came down and made a trading range double bottom. 25, 25. So a trading range double bottom is still, you can have a trading range within an uptrend. It's just on a shorter time frame. It's a trading range. So the stop loss is probably in an okay place. Interesting, my stop loss is pretty much where the DAX is at neutral for the day, where it opened. Yeah, it doesn't look good now, does it? Looks like I escaped for now. So, just a little house cleaning here. I was 1 point from being stopped out, and now I'm back in positive. I guess it is a small stop loss, but still, I consider myself a little fortunate there. If I was trading with a broker with larger spreads, see the spread here is fixed 0.9, the broker probably would have stopped me out. Interesting how the FTSE and the DAX more and more are running their own pace, their own race, so to speak. That didn't used to be the case in the old days, so to speak. I don't think I'm going to be lucky this second time around. No, it wasn't. Bugger. So school run short has triggered, but I haven't taken it, and I am reluctant to do so. Because I am seeing what feels like a range-bound market. You know the saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Bit of a cliche, and of course, if I swapped over to a 15-minute chart, the risk is not indefensible. Short here at 18 with a stop loss at 54, 60. So maybe. Yeah, probably need to. Stand by. I'm short in the DAX here at 18. And a stop loss. Oh, stop loss isn't in yet. Sorry. There's the stop loss at 58. Gonna move my stop loss down to 45. So let's do a recap of this. I'm currently short on what's called a school run. I want to show you on it. I just want to take it. Let's start with a weekly chart. I think that might be a good idea. So yesterday, the DAX flirted with the open of the week. More importantly, the daily chart gave a sell signal. Why? Because the highest we could see, we closed below it. That's what happened here. And as all technical analysis is fractal in nature, meaning that what you're seeing on a big time frame is replicable to a small time frame. If this had been a 5-minute chart and I'd seen this pattern, we went above this high here, in my world, this is the target. Obviously, if this had been a 5-minute chart, how many bars it took to get up there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 of them. That's sort of what I would expect the time frame to be to meet its conclusion. And I'm not going to sit in this position for 13 days. This is a daily chart, but we are closing below the high, the highest bar's low. That was WD Gann that said that there's the two most important points is the high of the lowest bar and the low of the highest bar. Not that I encourage you to go into WD Gann unless you want to have an exercise in slashing your wrists and banging your head against the wall repeatedly and beginning to have your head up in Uranus. Not Uranus, Uranus and Mars and Mercury and whatnot. But this would be the objective. But if you then look at a 30-minute chart, what's important for me is that this market here made a double bottom of yesterday's low. Great, so far so good. It got me on the bullish side. I bought a retracement, this point here, this bar here, in case you didn't figure that out. But this is kind of the bar that breaks the low here. So I just marked that because it often serves as an important support resistance point. The market went higher, super great. I bought a retracement, also great. But now the market seems to, no, we can't hold on to this point here. And so now I'm short on what's called a school run. That's this bar here, which is the second bar. This bar here. And that took me long with an offset down here at 20. And I'm currently about 8-10 points in profit. I've already have a 15 point loss to my name. Of course, happens. And now all I can do now is observe. I can begin to faff about with these bars here and see if there's anything where I would want to be a buyer that would cause me to perhaps close, but I don't see it just yet. So I simply just have to be patient and not take anything for granted, but just perhaps bear in mind that this pattern here, I can, for example, show you to see how the market closes below the low of the highest bar there, and it causes a cascade over the following 2 days with quite a big sell-off in the DAX index of about 200 points, 220. I can show you here. So what you're seeing here again, and this is something that I teach, shall we say, have taught, that it would go above an old high. They are fishing for stop losses, orders above, and one of the hallmarks for it being done is when you close below a low, and that's what you're seeing here. And then the following 2 or 3 days, you see quite a dramatic follow through. And that's that's something that is replicable in other time frames as well, such as the 15-minute chart. And so what you're seeing here is that the market has closed below that high point here, and if that's the case, I would expect this number to come into play again. Of course, like anything, ladies and gentlemen, we are right about 60% of the time. We're not right all the time, but so far it's looking good. Yeah, I hope that, I know that I don't often get analytical. It's not that I'm not analytically minded, it's just that I don't want to bore people to death with this kind of stuff. I don't want to do YouTube videos just droning on about levels and setups. For me, the challenge is to handle size, trading size, and keeping your composure and keeping your cool, and hopefully ride it to a beautiful completion, and then job done. And go and eat ice cream or spirulina or whatever takes your fancy, right? There was a time when I did some seminars. It wasn't a business as such, it was more like a, shall we say, it's really nice to get out of the house. And so about twice a year, I would run a one-day seminar in Copenhagen. And I would teach a technique. I call it the fishing technique, because I know that some of you are being taught by others, and with the greatest respect to them, they give it one name. Other educators give it another name. I mean, so the candlestick man, Stephen Eason, he would call it a crack and snap. He's saying they would crack the support or resistance, and they would snap back. Gann, he called it lost momentum. It would lose its momentum. I call it fishing technique. I think many of you are following an individual that calls it a liquidity sweep. All I want to say is, and whether you believe me or not, that is entirely, of course, up to you. But there's nothing new under the sun. This has been in existence for decades. It's just then someone new comes along and gives it a new name, gives it a new new packaging, so to speak. Same old shit, just new packaging. That's not to say that it's not good to have someone give it a fresh look, whether you believe in the underlying hypothesis or not. There's always been this. I remember my back in God, I don't know, 93, 94. I worked briefly at the Treasury Department at a pension fund before. No, that must have been 91 actually. And the head dealer there, he said, look at that. They take them up to pull them down. That was the first time I ever heard that expression. 1991, long before algorithms and computers were ruling the markets. Ah, yes. And then I heard it again. Ah, that's right. Someone just said liquidity grab. It's just Al Brooks calls it, what is that Al Brooks called it? Fair value gaps. But as Steve so poetically just said, same shit, different day. Yeah, it's so true. It is. Thanks, Steve. Poetically put, my friend. Poetically put. I guess at the end of the day, what it matters is that you're just making a little bit more when you're making than when you're losing. Probably move that stop loss to break even. I've clicked on stop loss to break even. But anyway, whether you call it cracking snap, liquidity grab, lost momentum, or whatever name by which you go by, it's a it's a very common trait. And what causes it? Who knows? Excuse me. I can absolutely appreciate someone sitting behind their monitor now, wondering why I wouldn't take profit when I could cover the loss from my first trade. And that's true, and that's a very valid emotion to have, because within our minds we have, well, they argue that there's 8 different brains in our mind according to research, but but just to try and make it a little more accessible to the man in the street, of which I am. Of course, I'm a man in the street, just like you are. I'm not a research scientist, but you will have a part of your mind. Let's call it the primal mind, and it's the one that is responsible for you, quote unquote, planting the seeds. Ensuring your legacy is enduring through the generations. You can connect the dots. um, but also, as it's apart from its desire to, shall we say, procreate, it also has as its vital function is to protect you against pain. And losing money is a painful experience, without a doubt. It's an emotional topic. You just look at uh, as stupid as an example as it may be, but I watch a YouTube video of someone telling me to buy Bitcoin. And if I buy Bitcoin and the Bitcoin then goes on to lose money, then I can complain to all sorts of instances saying, this guy misled me, da 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 da. But if I do some kind of yoga exercise because I've watched David Goggins do it, and I decide to start complaining that I fracture or I dislocated my hip because of a yoga posture that some cutie on a YouTube video showed me how to do. They're just gonna get laughed at. You're a fool for trying to do yoga posture. So the degree of personal responsibility is rapidly dismissing. But I'll circle back to. But that's because of the money. It's an emotional topic. Oh, you lost money. Doesn't matter that you dislocated your hip. That's fine. But losing money, oh no, now it's no longer your responsibility. It is perfectly natural to send thousands and thousands of dollars anonymously via a Bitcoin transaction to a stranger that you've never ever met, and then putting your faith in that he's going to trade your money. Not that I'm offering that service. I don't offer any kinds of services at all. But I hope that you're sort of getting the point. And so its primary function is to protect you against pain. And so sitting here knowing, oh, I lost 16 points on the first trade. Now I can even out the score. Financially, it means that the 3,200 pounds that I lost can now be clawed back. Great, but emotionally it just means it almost feels like a victory because the balance has been evened. And to my mind, that is the real challenge of trading. To my mind. So I may get stopped out now. I have 10 points in profit. I may get stopped out for nothing. And then this session is going to be the session where why didn't you close the DAX when you had an opportunity to? And you could have made back what you lost. But I think I did the right thing. I moved my stop loss to break even. It looks like I'm going to get stopped out now. But still in with a chance. I've been stopped out. Oh, yes. I suppose there will be sessions like this. I think that's me done for the morning. Huh, rare. I got slipped by a point. 0.9. Yeah, maybe DAX will come down in a second. Entirely possible. But I'm done now. So thank you so much for your company this morning. I did what I could. I'm going to stop streaming now. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, and I will see you for the US. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.